I'm Barbara Barrie. I am in Significant Other, which is at the Booth Theater, and I'm here to do roll call. Viola in Twelfth Night, the greatest part ever written for a young woman in Shakespeare, was the most glorious experience because it's such a great role. And I just had a baby. She's the only Shakespearean heroine who has no friend, who has no confidant. She's totally alone. This role I really feel I did well. Sarah in Company was a blast because the entire experience was incredible. And I was given my choice of roles in this production. And I chose Sarah because she does karate. And I love doing all kinds of physical things. However, Sarah did not have a song. So I was pretty frustrated for the entire year or whatever I did because I didn't have a song. You know, it was a record-breaking musical, although at the time we didn't know we were breaking any kind of artistic records. We just worked hard, but it was a great experience. This is Yenta in Fiddler on the Roof. Not the last version, but the version before with Alfred Molina. I was hired to do this. I mean, actually they begged me to do it. And my husband said, "This is not your role, don't do it." And I said, "Oh, well, they really need me." I did it, and it was totally a failure. I was fired. But I really tried, and finally I said, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this, but I didn't quit. They had to fire me because when they fired me, they had to pay me for a year. So I was very happy to be fired from this production. Edna in The Prisoner of Second Avenue. It is such a wonderful part. You can't not get laughs because Neil Simon really wrote this play well. I had a wonderful time doing it, and I was pretty funny. This role was a life-changing role because it's the role that anchors the show. It's about Helen Keller and Annie Sullivan, and we toured this throughout Europe and the Middle East. 26 cities and 16 countries. We met kings and queens and nobles and stars, and it was a great experience. The role is so emotional and so physically demanding and so important, really, because it's about communication. It's about Annie Sullivan getting through to Helen Keller, who was blind and deaf. So once I had played this role, I felt I really could do almost anything. I still walk down the street and people will lean out of cars and trucks and say, "Mrs. Miller." It was, you know, a very groundbreaking series. It was the first series where everything took place in one room. I am still identified with this, and that's nice. I was offered this play, and I said, I like it, but I'm not going to do it because I want to go to the beach for the summer. So I gave it to my children, and I just said, just in passing, read this play and tell me what you think, because it's certainly a talented play. And my son, the producer, called me up and said, "Mom, you got to do this play." I said, "I do? I can't go to the beach?" "No, I can't go to the beach." And my daughter called up, and she said, "Mom, you got to do this play." I said, "Why?" She said, "It is a great part for you." I said, "You're going to go to Fire Island without me? With my grandchildren and my friends? I'm not going to come all summer?" They said, "Got to do this play." So I'm doing this play, and they are very proud of me. This movie, 30 Days, was my son's first movie. He produced it, and it was a wonderful experience because I was being directed by my son. You know, it didn't become a big hit, but it was a lovely little movie. And I would like to repeat the whole experience again because I went to work, and who was my boss? My son was my boss. It was nice. This was a lot of fun. I've had a very nice time in the theater, and seeing all of this up here is kind of magical. I mean, really, I did stuff. Who knew? And I hope you will come and see Significant Other at the Booth Theater. We're playing 8 performances a week. We're having a wonderful time. It's a wonderful play with a cast of young people who are just enchanting. So I hope we'll see you there at the Booth Theater. Thank you.